It's cold, wet, and rainy here in Phoenix, but sales are hot. On today's Unnamed Real Estate Podcast. Hi there. This is Charles Ray Dawson, Associate Broker, Residential Sales Manager at ProStar Realty, and this is the Unnamed Real Estate Podcast, episode 109. Yeah, it's Thursday. I'm recording the record right now. Didn't even bother to put a nice shirt on. Wow, I'm just really half-assing this, guys, lately. I do apologize. You guys should get a standard of excellence from me that I just do not feel I'm meeting. I got a client who's texting me constantly and stuff like that. So if I suddenly glance over, it's because got that next new text and stuff. And in fact, I'm just going to turn that over so I don't even see the screen anymore. So hope you guys are having a pretty good week. We are getting through quite the rainstorm last night on Wednesday. Prescott, Flagstaff, lots of snow in the west. Already hearing the people talking about how we don't have to worry about water anymore because we're having one good year. And yeah, guys, we're still in the desert. We still got to watch for water. A couple things that happened this week is I had attended an online sales meeting, seminar, whatever, about the future of real estate for 2023 here in the Valley. It was held by one of the I think it was a Phoenix Business Journal, and that was a thing. I didn't really see anything that I didn't already know and that you guys don't already know. Tina was on there, so that's always worth the price of admission. And then the other people on there were, hold on for just a second. Wow, Hairball or something. What the hell? So, yeah, Tina was on there. A couple other people from various brokerages. There was a builder that was on there discussing building plans, how much they're going to be ramping up building. There was a person who was involved in building apartment complexes and how that's going on. They were talking about the various issues that they're dealing with, from builders is pretty much supply chain issues, rates. And we're going to get to rates here in a bit because interest rates are doing their funky thing again. Then the real estate agent on there, she's from one of the big brokerages in town that you've heard of. She's one of the co-founders of it. I don't think she brought a lot to the table and everything like that. She just seemed to nod and agree with everybody else. But, Tina on there hit the same notes as she's always been hitting. But starting at the top of stuff like that, Crawford Reports reporting today that our sales to contract ratio, that's houses for sale compared to houses currently under contract, have broken above 60%. All right, and that means that we are back in a hot market. All right, once again, we've been saying this for a while. I'm going to talk to you about a couple things that might be why we might be backing off of that. All right, but if you are getting interested in buying or selling anytime soon, we're not quite going to be at the early levels of 2022 before interest rates did their thing. But once again, house has to be ready to go. It's got to be clean. I was just reviewing one of my agent's listings today. And, but from the top, what I would advise that agent and what I'm going to advise that agent when they call me back is two things, all right? Professional photography is a must now. It's not an option. Your iPhone is not going to do as good a job as a professional photographer coming in. It's relatively cheap, right? It's part of your marketing efforts that you do to sell that house. Get that part done. And the other thing is, and this is to you, the sellers, get your personality out of the house. All right. One of the feedbacks my agent got on this listing was, I don't see myself living here. Of course not. You don't see yourself living there because you can't see anybody else living in there but the person who's currently living there. Now, I like the artwork. All right, it's very much my style. If I was going to sell my house, I would be pulling stuff off the wall too. I'd be moving out a lot of the furniture I have in there, right? The Velvet Elvis painting detracts from the sellability of your property. You might love it. You might have gotten it from your grandfather who actually painted it himself with Elvis as the living model that he did it. Get it the hell out of your house, right? People need to see bare walls. They want to see themselves in that space, not you. All right? So let's cover the rest of the news and stuff like that. Interest rates. News came out today. CNBC is saying that we've hit the 7% mark again. That sort of trends in with what I was seeing from NOC came out yesterday. NOC was saying that they can do 6.625, but when you read the fine print on that one, that's going to be with 30% down and using a point to buy it down to that. So we're back into the sevens. What happened last time we hit the sevens, right? We saw buyers suddenly stop looking. Now, a lot of that is psychological. All right. And now, first time, so painful, you don't want to ever do it again. Second time, okay, well, we still need a house. We still need a place to live. So I don't think that this foray into the sevens is going to have the same emotional impact with the buyers that we saw the last hit into the sevens. All right. But it's going to start drawing things down. But let's do this. Let's look at the numbers real quick because I want to show you guys something here. All right. So this is incorrect. I'm going to change that right now on the fly because today is indeed March the 2nd. Let's see, this is what I mean. I used to have this entire little process in place to professionalism. Now I'm starting to slack. Am I getting lazy? God, I hope not. Maybe I'm just busy with everything else. But these are the numbers for March 2nd, 2023. All right, coming soon to an MLS near you is 569 listings. Right? And they're going into the existing 14,674 listings, which is down 481. Our inventory is still sliding back. Our new listings last week were 1,753, which is down 100 from the week before. Less listings are coming on the market. Most people who have sold have gotten them on there because they always plan for the first quarter. Right. Contracts, though, were 2,691, which is up 78. Buyers are still out there. And our closings are at 2,182. So what we're looking at here is, remember on those closings, it takes 30 days to close. Of these 2,691, 2,700 contracts you're seeing coming, some will fall out, some won't. All right. But definitely the doldrums that we were seeing where just houses weren't selling over the winter are gone. That's our normal seasonality. Same with the actives. Same with coming soon. One of the interesting things on that seminar I was listening to where they kept saying, oh, we have unusually low inventory. We have unusually low inventory. And I'm like just sitting there going, hey, we were in the 4,000, 5,000 this time last year, right? This is much better than we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years. All right. So I don't think this is a new normal. Remember, our supply right now is at 64.4 of where we're supposed to be. Right. So based on population and how often people move from one house to another, the churn. Right. Our demand, though, is at 82.3. We don't have as many buyers as we would normally have, but they are out there. All right. Giving us a Cromford report number of 127.9, which puts us into the seller category. That dovetails into the contract sales ratio that we were seeing earlier. This is indeed, back into a seller's market, except for 2 little areas, and let's take a look at that. All right, 3 actually. All right, we're going to go from the bottom up on this one. Buckeye, Maricopa, and Queen Creek. You are still out there in buyer territory. All right, probably will be for a while, although. Yeah, even this Queen Creek, if they, this is a month to month, they've gone up 25% month over month, which means projected out they're going to take about 7 weeks or so, maybe 8 weeks to get to the point where, if they keep increasing at that level to get into a balanced market. If the 7% interest rate hits and everything like that and sticks, you might not see Queen Creek, Maricopa, or Buckeye actually turn into a seller's market for quite some time. However, we had got Goodyear. All right, a month ago they were at 75. Now they're at 93.4. That is a soft balance market. Soft meaning towards the buyers. Surprise at 99.3. They're up 7 from last month, which almost means a perfect 1-to-1 buyer to seller ratio. And then we go into the seller's market, starting with Peoria at 116.9, Scottsdale, Cave Creek, Paradise Valley. Scottsdale and Cave Creek and Paradise Valley, they're all showing slowing markets on there, although they are still strongly into the seller side of the house. We'll see if that continues on. I'm intrigued. Remember, those three price points cities tend to have higher price points. The higher price points react differently. All right. Rich people aren't affected by your interest rates as much as, less rich people are. All right. So let's keep an eye on those three. And then rounding it out, we got Tempe, Gilbert, Mesa, Avondale, Phoenix, Glendale, Fountain Hills, Chandler leading the list at 179.1 on the Crawford Report. Definitely a seller's market over there. So that's what we're looking across the board. So what does this mean to you, the consumer? Depending on the neighborhood you want to live in, all right, you are going into a hot seller's market, especially in some of these cities and whatnot. You need to take that into consideration when you're out there writing offers. We're not doing the multiple offer things. We're not doing you have to be out there at 11 o'clock on Wednesday because it's going to be gone by 5 o'clock on Wednesday. Right? But we can see elements of that coming back into play. I think this interest rate thing, it ties into something called affordability. Now, we came down about 13% from May, our peak, to the beginning of this year. All right. Just some pricing. That's considered a correction in most, economic textbooks and everything like that. Is that going to continue on? This slowing has definitely stopped. In fact, we see prices are starting to hold where they're at. All right. Remember, we were up, only down 3% year over year from January 1st to January 1st. All right. We're still looking at, ultimately, at the end of the day, and this is the one consistent that we saw in that meeting I was on, right? It's this number right here, that 64.4. We do not have enough houses. One of the people said that she quoted 300 people a day moving into Maricopa. I did the math last year, and it came up to 200 a day across the state. All right, but if maybe the other areas of the state have people leaving, right? That could be 300 into Maricopa. Maybe that's people interstate is also being counted on that. Just thought of that, all right? But 300 people a day coming into Maricopa County. We're not building that many houses. All right, we have supply chain issues when we're trying to get apartments building. We have NIMBY like a big dog. People are always complaining if you want to put an apartment complex in because poor people are icky, and I don't want poor people in my neighborhood. And if you're living in an apartment, you must be poor because I live in a house. All right, that kind of crap. All right, so we're always going to have that. Interesting thing is that we're seeing more listings on the MLS for rentals, but we're not seeing rents drop as much anymore. It seems like we've recovered out of that too. So this all boils into something called affordability. Right? And the affordability numbers are still squampus because of the COVID happening, because meant that there was not as many one-on-one interviews out there following the census. So we don't know what income is right now because we don't know really what medium income in Maricopa County is right now. We can't really tell you what the affordability because there is a ratio that they use to tell you on that. But better today than it was last June. But when that interest rate pops up and your mortgage payments are more, that reduces your affordability. So let's keep an eye on that. There was a really good blog post that I read this week that ties this whole thing in, because everybody right about now always starts talking about the crash and the big coming crash. If you're looking to buy on the dip was the first 3 weeks of November. Right, I can show you the numbers. I can break that all out. This person has one of the best consolidated articles about what happened during the '08 crash. And it's one of those great articles that pisses everybody off, right? Dems are going to be upset because, they have to take some of the blame. Republicans are going to be upset because they have to take up some of the blame, which means you're never going to see it on regular news channels because wherever those news channels are, there's going to be one side they don't want to tick off, right? But I'm going to include that in the show notes below so you guys can read it if you're interested. And just draw comparisons between, are we having these issues today when it comes to our housing market? No, what we have right now is we don't have enough houses, we don't have enough water, and our interest rates are going up. That's making it a little weird for everybody. Nationally that we got going on there, on the national news, Open Door is talking about how they are going to double down on stupid and they're going to make it or break it this year. That'll be really fun to watch. Can they do it in this current market? We will see. How deep are their bankers' pockets, their investors, their hedge fund leaders? Do they have the wallet to play this game? We'll find out. The other thing that we got going on is that a couple of the other Compass, which is a big brokerage and everything like that. They're talking about franchising, so you can go and franchise into their system. There's benefits to having your brokerage be a franchise. We don't see it here at ProStar. That's why we do what we do. And with that being said, what I want you to do is watch your kids and pets around water. All right? I want you to stay out of the flooded zones. All right? I want you to work your circles, and I want you guys to have a great weekend. I'll be out showing houses. If you see me in my little blue car, wave by.